God Wars, a VR game about the war between gods, took over the sports, entertainment, and cultural spaces within just a few years after its release. It has amassed a massive 1.8 billion user base. God Wars is so popular that some people play it for a living. In a boss dungeon, mages and fighters under the Abyss Guild are battling a strong twin-headed dragon. The fight is being live-streamed, and viewers are commenting as they watch. The dragons are pressing the Abyss Guild, but a mage's strong magic attack keeps them at a distance. The attack inflicts a lot of damage, and after this moment, the mighty mage, Lee Sol, appears and casts a powerful spell called Roulette of the Gods. Massive wings emerge from the beautiful mage, and a notification says it's preparing a random skill. Excited, the people in the live chat share their predictions of the random attack, and the common answer is the appearance of Nike, the goddess of victory. The guild members are watching Lee Sol, and the dragons take this moment to attack. However, at the last moment, the skill activates and summons Nike, who suddenly appears and exacts her divine punishment by piercing through one of the twin dragons' heads. The chances of that happening are low, but the Abyss Guild got lucky. With only one head remaining, the guild pushes their attack and fires multiple spells simultaneously. During this chaos, another powerful mage named Merlin casts a spell. Oh, and the live chat is absolutely awed by this guy's looks. He summons a flame dragon and launches a devastating fire blast, disintegrating the remaining dragon head. The guild celebrates their victory, which is the fastest run through the boss dungeon. The live stream ends, and a notification says the replay has finished playing. The hero of our story, Jang Hyun-woo, has been watching this replay while relaxing on his glorious PC gaming chair. A moment later, Hyun-woo is on the phone with his broker, discussing the payment terms of a raid invitation. The pay is only $300 a day, but since he's an experienced player in the VR game God Wars, he knows a cheap reward when he sees one. His broker tells him plenty of other guys are willing to join, but Hyun-woo quickly says he just wants to be paid a higher rate. The broker explains he can't do anything about the rate, and abruptly hangs up. Just get a new broker, Hyun-woo. That one's stingy. As he's throwing a tantrum, his friend, Yuk-ju, arrives and asks if he's doing well. Hyun-woo complains about his new job with the raid, but his friend says he wishes he could participate in a raid like that. As they walk through the capsule cafe, Yuk-ju explains that God Wars players earn a substantial amount of money, but only a select few can achieve that. In fact, not even more than 1.5 million out of the 1.8 billion players are making a living through the raids. So, he tells Hyun-woo not to feel cornered, since in the first place, it's not like he's untalented. Hyun-woo mulls over his friend's advice and thinks about his own talent. Compared to other games, God Wars doesn't have an auto-targeting system. But for a former baseball player like Hyun-woo, that hard feature makes it more advantageous for him. He was a well-known pitcher before retiring due to injury, so in his mind, it tells Yuk-ju he'll never know how pathetic his mediocre talent makes him feel. He thanks Yuk-ju for the advice, who asks if he thinks he can still succeed in the game despite the Forerunners taking over God Wars. Hyun-woo agrees with his concern, but Yuk-ju changes the topic to Hyun-woo's own character called Midas. It's a mage character he obtained from the class card gacha after regrettably pouring all his money into it. Gachas are truly one of the fastest ways to lose your money. I know some of you would know. Hyun-woo has been working hard to raise his character for over 5 years to earn money in God Wars, since this is his only option. Deep inside, he's doing this to protect his precious family. The gamer asks Yuk-ju what he's staring at on his phone. He answers that it's a novel about an MC traveling back to the past to take revenge. After commenting that it's a weird novel, Hyun-woo says goodbye to Yuk-ju and leaves the capsule cafe. It's raining outside, and he doesn't have an umbrella, but he doesn't mind. He's walking home while thinking about the novel Yuk-ju's reading when he suddenly hears the loud screeching of tires nearby. He looks back and sees an incoming. Guess what? Of course, there's an incoming truck headed right at him. Hyun-woo's shocked and Truck-kun inevitably crashes. The truck is lying on its side, wrecked and absolutely destroyed. But weirdly enough, Hyun-woo is safe and sound. Truck-kun missed him for the first time in the history of manga. He's in shock and thinks he's almost ended up returning. If this was an isekai, he'd be waking up as a baby by now. Hyun-woo wonders why he's so unlucky, but he figures he's actually lucky since he didn't get hurt by the truck. However, by a stroke of unimaginable bad luck, a power line behind him breaks and whips him right in the back, electrocuting him. He falls to the ground, and onlookers rush to help him and yell to call another ambulance. Yeonwoo's life has been crap, with no money or talent, but he swears that today has been the luckiest day of his whole life as he loses consciousness. Yeonwoo wakes up and finds himself in a hospital bed with the doctor asking him questions. The doctor tells him he only has a brush burn so he can be discharged immediately. After paying his bill at the front desk, he can leave. Yeonwoo's more concerned about the bill than his injuries, it seems like. Later that day, he's walking home and thinking about his rotten luck. He managed to dodge a truck, but got shocked by an electric pole. So, he had to spend money unnecessarily when he was already strapped for cash. He sighs and decides he should just be grateful that he didn't get hurt, since all he has is his body. He arrives at his door, but his door lock unexpectedly says his fingerprint is unregistered. Yeonwoo wonders what's wrong since it was working yesterday, so he tries again and again, but the result remains the same. Much to his frustration, someone finally opens the door for him, and it's his niece, Hyerin. Yeonwoo lovingly greets his niece and asks about her dad, who's also his big brother. Jung Tae-woo, sitting nearby, calls his attention and asks about his trip to the hospital, but Yeonwoo simply says it is nothing. His brother asks again if he's really not sick, and this time, Yeonwoo says he'd still be hospitalized if he was actually very ill. Just then, he brings up his concern about the faulty door lock not recognizing him, saying the machine's probably broken since the house is old. However, Tae-woo says the device is still working, and the system can't have a problem since it uses the same biometric algorithm as the God Wars capsules. The information shocks Yeonwoo, who's suddenly now sweating profusely. He never knew that the home security device uses the same login data as God Wars, and he connects the dots and realizes something terrible. Suddenly, he leaves the house in a rush, saying he needs to go to the Capsule Cafe. At the Capsule Cafe, he's on the phone with customer support and learns he can't log into his God Wars account since there has been a hacking attempt. His biometric data no longer matches his login data, and unless he hires a lawyer, he won't be getting anywhere near his old account ever again. In Yeonwoo's time, biometric data is the best way to prove your identity since it can't be faked or changed. It's very secure, which is why he can't believe the situation he's in right now. However, why isn't it working all of a sudden? It was working fine until yesterday. Could it be because he got electrocuted? Just then, he receives a text about the incoming raid, which couldn't have come at a worse time. Yeonwoo thinks it's all over now. He raised his character by pouring in all his money. He remembers his personal downfalls and his family struggles and decides not to give up. With renewed motivation, he realizes quitting God Wars isn't an option for him. He should give up on becoming a ranker in the game and instead just be a miner at the mines or something. If he works hard enough, he should be able to make enough to pay for living expenses. He has a family he needs to protect, so he needs to make money no matter what. Yeonwoo heads inside the capsule area and tells Yukju to set up a capsule for him. He has a leftover character creation card, which costs $880, so he can create another account. He has never thought he'd be going through this again, but he enters the game nonetheless. As he's making another character named Midas, he muses about the similarities between the real world and God Wars. First of all, if you don't have any money, you can't start. All the items in the game are super expensive, and that's because many people want to live conveniently in the game world, even if it costs them a lot of money. On top of that, it's difficult to sell items in the game world. If it was easy, he thinks, he wouldn't be in this mess. He's already chosen a god to worship, and it's time to pick his character class. The Gacha class section is upon him again, and while crying, he remembers how much money he spent just to become a mage. He supposes there are only two options to do well in a game where everything is random. Either you have to be born super wealthy, or you have to be crazy lucky. Unfortunately, as we've seen, Yeonwoo is neither. Yeonwoo goes over the Gacha class selections and he's sure they're all trash. But he's gonna mine anyway, so why bother thinking about his class? However, a rare gold Archmage class card grabs his attention. He wonders if he's hallucinating, but he taps it and a notification pops up. You've obtained the Archmage class, it says. He teleports into a lobby wearing a fresh set of clothes and looks at his status window. He can't believe what he's seeing. He's a legendary rank Archmage able to learn all of the world's magic. The third ranked player in God Wars Asmos spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to obtain the Archmage class. Suddenly, Yeonwoo has it too, without spending a massive fortune. That's the luckiest thing ever, and he's gone from weak to OP unexpectedly. If this is all real, Yeonwoo decides to ditch his plan to go mining. He'll focus on quickly leveling up to go in raids. However, he's sure that this is just a temporary system error. Once he reconnects, he believes he'll have a basic class like warrior or magician. But after tapping yes to start the tutorial quest, Yanwu sees something unexpected. He's seeing hidden information in the quest window, something a regular class character wouldn't be able to do. He reads the hidden information and discovers a titled reward called Tutorial Master, which provides a plus 10 stat boost in all of his stats as long as he survives for over 71 minutes. Normally, leveling up would only garner 5 additional stat points, so this means he can get 2 levels of anything just by finishing the tutorial. Now that's a pretty sweet deal. The other people in the lobby wonder what's happening to him, as he looks like he's losing his marbles. One player theorizes that he's someone that restarted because his account got suspended like them. I mean, he's not far off. Okay, back to our MC. Yanwu has been playing God Wars for over 5 years, but this is the first time he has heard about the Tutorial Master, which means no one has discovered it yet. That's a fortunate situation for him. In addition to that, if the hidden information he's seeing is real, it means that his selection of the Archmage class wasn't a system error. Excited by the possibilities, he enables the record function as the lobby small crumbles to start the tutorial. In God Wars, where a person can only get a good class with either money or luck, secret information fetches a high price. Yanwu's Archmage class is an anomaly, and he prays that none of this is a dream. A notification appears and says the tutorial is starting. Everyone in the lobby is transported into a clearing in the middle of a forest, surrounded by monsters wielding weapons. The people are panicking, but someone in the crowd says that these monsters aren't meant to be defeated. Yanwu agrees with the guy and he thinks surviving 71 minutes in this tutorial won't be easy. Just then, the monsters' aggro indicators turn red at the side of the group, and they all attack. In this age, God Wars represents societal value. Many people start the game with their own dreams, but they all say the same thing in the end. God Wars is hard like hell, and you'll only be wasting money. The moment when a beginner truly understands reality is in the tutorial. The monsters take out the players one by one, and the newbies are in a frenzy. The tutorial ends when they're beaten to death, but some players are scared and unable to move. However, being the Smurf player he is, Yanwu is unafraid of the monsters. In fact, he says it's better to die quickly to get to the main game. Well said, spoken like a true gamer. Yanwu is running away from 3 monsters when he notices something crazy. He can see each of the monster's status windows, and on top of that, he has figured out how the aggro indicator works. Green means they're in a peaceful state, but when it changes to red, it means the monster is targeting him for an attack. Yanwu dodges a lunging monster at the last second, disappearing from sight, and the monster's aggro indicator slowly turns green. Yanwu thanks his past self for memorizing how to deal with the crazy orcs, and he turns his attention back to the Tutorial Master reward condition of surviving over 71 minutes. With Yanwu's advanced knowledge of the game and 5 years of experience, running away from the monsters isn't difficult for him. Also, it doesn't look like any other newbies know about the hidden information. So, with 1 hour left, Yanwu feels confident about achieving the reward conditions. An hour later, Yanwu is done playing and gets up from his capsule. It wasn't a dream, he thinks. He plays the recording of his tutorial and watches himself. He survived, but he died afterward because the orcs rushed him. But the important thing is that he got the Tutorial Master title. This means the Archmage class card is real. The realization excites him, so he tries to calm himself down. As he's doing his thing, Yukju arrives and wonders what he's doing. Yanwu tells him that he just feels conflicted about starting from scratch. His friend asks why he started from scratch when he raised a mage so well. It's not like he had his account suspended, right? But the truth is exactly that, and Yanwu says nothing as a sad expression is etched on his face. Yanwu tells Yukju he's going back into the game and coldly warns him not to tell others about his situation. In his mind, he's sorry for acting like that, but he can't let others know about his secret. If the developers somehow found out, there's no way they'd just leave him be. Not to mention, he'd also get hounded by money-crazed people. Yanwu thinks he probably got this ability thanks to the electrocution accident. But still, this is a God-given chance, an ultimate chance to overturn his poverty-ridden life. He doesn't know how long this ability will last, but he'll make sure to use it well, especially for his big brother and Yerin. He arrives at the town of beginning, the starter town for all new players, and his journey begins. There aren't 100 archmages in this world, and Yanwu still can't believe he's one of them. However, he remains focused and diverts his attention to raising his levels first and going to raids. Zhang Yangwu's luck has been non-existent, be it IRL or in the game God Wars. But all of that changed with a stroke of luck and electricity? Now, he can provide for and protect his beloved family better. Go Yanwu.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.